Mr. Sean McDonald. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? On this hot day after your great show?
I'm hot. Just a little bit, just a little bit.
You know that we saw you 3 weeks ago in Holland, Hospital, Blues, Moulin Blues. We were there.
Alright.
And one of the big acts, that's the man before me. You were very, very good.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Before, did you know the Peer Festival?
I didn't.
No?
I didn't, but I knew it had to be something big for some of the people that are on the festival this year to be on the festival. So when you have folks like C.W. Stone King and Robert Cray and James Hunter and it's
Joanne and
it's an honor and a pleasure to be on the same bill as those folks. And then people in the past. Now I was walking through the path and saw all the folks that were here, and so it just made me happy to know that I'm in good company.
Very good company, I can say yes. But before you came, what were your expectations? Did you have something in your...
I knew it was going to be a good festival. That's all I knew. I just knew that it was going to be a good festival and that I was going to have to put on a good show. So.
This is again a part of your Euro tour that you're doing? I think that you have been in Belgium and Ghent last year?
Yes, and then like you said, we were just in Ospel a few weeks ago, and where else have I been? Been a lot of places here, so yeah.
but I've done some research on internet by Googling. I've been looking for some details about Mr. McDonald. I found about you. You're from Georgia, Augusta?
Yes, Augusta, Georgia, yeah.
You're a very young guy, I can say, because mid-20s, I think. No, what's your age?
I'm 24.
24, oh.
I think I'm the baby on the bill. I think I'm the youngest on the bill. Either
I think
me or
you're the
Luca.
youngest one on the whole on the bill, yes.
On the lineup, yeah.
Why did you want to become a musician?
It was already in my DNA. There were already musicians in my family.
You're saying that you were destined to become a musician.
There were musicians in my family before I even got here. So there was my great grandfather. He taught shape note singing, which is where people would sing hymns in church, but they didn't know exactly what the notes written were, so they used shapes instead to determine what notes were going to be sang. So he did that. His name was Peter Rochelle. My great grandfathers, two of them, McKinley Hayes and Benny McDonald, we called him Stoney. They both played blues music, especially my grandpa Stoney. And then Grandpa Stoney, he became a deacon, so he played in the church. My great grandfather was a deacon and a quartet singer, and my other great grandfather managed his quartet group. And my dad's a drummer, my granddad's a drummer, and folks all sing throughout the family. So it was kind of destined for me to do this.
Do you know what they tell about you? A young man with the soul of an old bluesman.
I've heard that all my life.
You agree with that, or do you want to add something, or?
No, that's me in a nutshell. No,
that's correct. That's the right.
People have said that I've had an old soul my whole life, and that I've been here before, which I gladly accept. And
24 and singing and playing that must be in your.
I sing like I'm in my 80s, so.
But besides music, you have been studying at the Middle Tennessee State University.
Yes.
Why did you do that besides? Is it because of your future, or?
Because education is important to my family.
You want to secure your future. You're doing things with music and.
Yeah, so when I was growing up, my family put a heavy emphasis on education. Music is great, and learning about music is great, but if you have, when all else fails, if you have an education, you can always fall back on that.
You have a plan B.
Exactly. So I went and you know, and it's not necessarily. I've heard in interviews that people are always like, well, it's not typical that blues musicians have college degrees, and that's not true because a lot of us younger guys, we all have our college degrees.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that I went ahead and took care of that before I went on the road or anything like that. Like I was getting offers since I was in high school to come to all these different places and playing in all these different countries. And of course I couldn't do it then because I was young and still living at my mama's house and didn't have a passport or anything like that. Yeah. So, but once I got to college and I was still getting offers and things like that, and I was like, y'all are gonna have to wait until after I graduate.
Yeah.
So once I graduated in 2022. Once I got my paper, once I got my degree, and walked across the stage, it was gung ho from then. So started off with playing in my buddy Yates McKendry's band. Was another young talented musician. He's 3 days younger than me. He's also 24, and but went on the road with him for a little while. Did my first international tour in South America. And have been doing it ever since.
Yeah. Do you still have free time for a hobby or something else?
Music is the hobby. No, but I try and find, and I need to do better at it, but I try and find free time when I can off the road and just enjoying myself and things. I want to travel and find other stuff to do.
Meet people, play music?
No, just travel. Not necessarily having to meet people or play or anything
just
like that.
To see other countries and other...
Yeah, just different places, just to enjoy myself, or pick up different things or get into different cultures and stuff like that. Because usually when I'm traveling, it's for work. It's about music. I'm doing a tour, I'm doing a show or something like that. So I'd rather be able to travel somewhere and just be, and not have to. I can be Sean and not have to be Sean Mack McDonald.
No. You have done your show today. What do you think about the people in Belgium?
They're loud.
In Europe, do they like the music?
They love the music over here. It's always funny because French people are fairly quiet during shows.
When we go to a show, we want to listen. We want to feel the music
and that's understandable. But I come from a place where if you enjoy the music, you talk back to the person, or you talk at the person, or you give some kind of response. And so I don't dig quiet audiences all the time. But there are times where, especially during the slow blues, if I can get your attention and get you quiet, and that's one thing. But if it's something that's that's loud and raucous and stuff like that, make some noise, dance, boogie, do something. So
you were in Holland and Oslo. Yeah, they did a lot of talking.
Yeah, they do. They did. And that can be a good or a bad thing, but I greatly appreciate the audience participation. So
that's a detail. Who are you influenced by when you play music? Have your names that you look up? That's one of my big idols.
A lot of people. Ray Charles is one of my biggest influences. James Brown is one of my biggest influences. Gospel singers are some of my huge influences, like Ira Tucker and Claude Jeter and Reverend Julius Cheeks and Alex Bradford and Dorothy Look, all these legendary gospel singers from the 50s and 60s. And then you have, James Brown, Ray Charles, B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, all the typical guys, but I really love the obscure people. So the people that don't get all of the shine and all of the recognition as they should, like Bill Jennings and Pete Guitar Lewis and Tiny Grimes and all those West Coast guys that were playing a lot of jazz influence.
Okay. Blues. Last year you came with your first album.
Yes.
Have Mercy.
Have Mercy.
Was it an easy piece of cake to do, or to bring the album, to go to the studio?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We had some of the most talented musicians on the West Coast on that record.
Yeah.
So myself and Kid Anderson and Jim Pugh.
You went to the Greaseland studio.
Greaseland studio.
The famous Greaseland studio.
Absolutely.
With the famous producer
and it was my first time going over there. I'd never been over there before, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and just knowing that they were very professional and very just willing to receive what it was that I had to say to make this record work.
So he is as good as everybody says.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. On the album, 4 of the 9 songs are your songs.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a difficult process to write a song or to do a new song?
It depends.
Yeah.
I think of songwriting as a very divine process. A very spiritual process where, you know, you don't come up with it on your own. You know, the universe and the creator kind of gives it to you. So it's like you have to be willing to receive what it is that the universe and the creator has to give to you. So there might be times where there were certain times where when I wrote those songs on the record where it was easy to write it because it was just flowing.
So
And then the next
it
day,
comes and it's
yeah, it would just happen. And then the next day I'd be like, I gotta write some more songs, and it wouldn't happen.
that doesn't work.
Yeah.
No,
So you can't. I learned, you know, fast that you can't force it.
I give you some free promotion, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Why must people buy your album?
Because it's good.
It's good. That's what they all say.
And I'm not saying that because it's my record. I'm saying that because it's it's legitimately a good record. If any of my other friends or if anybody else would have put out that record, I would have said the same thing. So they were, you know, the thing that I said to the people that I was, the musicians, Kid and Jim, and you know, I told them, I said, I want it to be me. I want it to be vintage, but with an edge. So it's like it's the past, the present, and the future at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a picture. It's a reflection of what used to be going on, because a lot of the songs are based in the 50s and 60s style of blues.
Yeah.
Or what people would call R&B, rhythm and blues back then, but we overlooked that. I call it the blues. It's the blues to me.
Just give us a name.
Exactly right. So, but it's very reminiscent of that with the originals, and a lot of the covers are from the 50s and 60s. And so, but because of my age and the way that I play, that's what gives it an edge. That's what gives it the modern edge. It gives a you know, there's a bit of creativity within it. So I think that has a lot to say about that record. You know.
Okay. Sean, I have some questions to finish.
Mm-hmm.
You're a young guy, 24. You must have things that you want to do. Open items on what they call a bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Plans for the future or things that you surely want to do?
Another record for sure. I want to go to every continent at least once. Do a show on every continent. So I've got 3 of them already down, with North America, South America, and Europe.
Europe?
Yeah, but I want to go to Asia, Australia, and Africa at least once. And I think that's because I've been able to travel so much within the last 3 years. Like, I've seen places that some of my family members haven't even gone to. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to do that. I want to get into acting. I want to, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do. So, but I've got time.
Okay, a lot of time.
Yeah.
You're young, I said it already, but why is it so important for you to preserve and spread the blues today?
Because
in a world where everybody is fighting or having a problem with wars in everywhere.
Well,
do you think it's still important to do that?
It's the perfect music for that.
Yeah.
It's the perfect. I mean, you got to think about it. When blues was in its heyday, when it first came out in the 20s, they had just gotten out of World War One. When it started becoming popular during the 40s and 50s, we had the World War II and we had Korean War.
Korean.
Then when B.B. King and Albert King became more famous than what they were, it was Vietnam.
Yeah,
and so
everybody tried to find something in the music.
Exactly. At every point within the music, there was something going on in the world. Not even just the wars, but you had the civil rights movement, you had the Jim Crow era. So all of that speaks to what the music is and what the music was. So I think the reason why it's so important to preserve that kind of music is because it's the type of music that talks about everyday life.
We must have young musicians to do that.
Exactly. You have to have somebody that has a perspective on what's going on. We could talk about Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and all those guys all day and what they were going through and what they had going on and stuff like that and what they're experiencing. Because a lot of them were experiencing what we're experiencing as young black men. But at the end of the day, our experiences are our experiences.
Yeah.
So, Nina Simone said it best when she said that an artist's duty is to reflect the times and what's going on presently. So, I say all that to say, the blues is just as important as the news is to talk about what's going on.
That's a good answer. Very good answer.
I think my dad would be proud.
The last one to finish because I have to look at the time for the recordings. Are you a different person by being a musician? You're young, I know, but do you think that music has changed you as a person?
Absolutely. I've always been different.
In the good way or in the...
It depends on how you want to take it. I know some people...
Yeah, you can say yes.
Yeah.
It's like you said, how you want to take it.
Yeah, however you want to take that. But I mean, some people think of me in a certain way, some people think of me in other ways, but because of music and because of my connection to music, I am definitely a different person, and I've grown to be a different person over the years.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been different since I was a kid, but that definitely has something to do with it because I view things differently because of the music. I hear certain things that other people won't hear because of the way I listen to music.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you hear that hi-hat pattern? Hear what that guitar player's doing? Blah 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 blah. And everybody's like, I just like the song. But it's a deeper thing for me, and we feel deeper and we think deeper than a lot of people do. So I'm definitely changed and different because of
Mr.
that.
Sean McDonald, that were my questions, and thank you again for the time for Roots Time.
Thank you.
For your Roots Time, and I wish you a great future in the blues.
I greatly appreciate it.
I'm sure about that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.